With the increasing popularity of ChatGPT and other developments around large language models, many developers are building features leveraging the powerful LLMs into their products. Crafting could reduce the end-to-end development time for LLM-based features from weeks to hours. The solution integrates convenient tooling for the full cycle, from development to testing and iteration, then to production. For development, the one-click environment includes all the libraries and tools, such as OpenAI SDK, LangChain, Jupyter Notebook, Web IDE. For testing, Crafting provides a convenient UI for interactive testing and human-in-the-loop iteration with shareable URL. To productionize, Crafting can serve your API directly or pack your already working code into containers for self-deployment. In this video, we will demonstrate the whole process by walking through how we develop an AI bot ourselves. First, we show how to start the LLM dev environment on Crafting Sandbox. Then, we illustrate how to quickly do prompt engineering and develop a Q&A bot with embeddings. After that, we describe how to easily productionize the code. Now let's begin. To start developing your LLM-based feature on Crafting, you can simply start by creating a sandbox environment with a template named LLM Dev. Thanks to the standardized environment Crafting platform provides, we are able to encapsulate all the packages, tools, and popular open-source frameworks and utilities in the dev environment so that the developer gets a fully ready environment to start on their own. As the sandbox is launched, we can see a few workspaces are set and a developer-friendly instruction is shown here. Crafting's dev environment is capable of working with any LLM model hosted anywhere, and since in this example we are going to use OpenAI's GPT, we are going to set up the key first. Once we have the key set up, we can first try a question in the chat UI to make sure we can hit OpenAI's API properly. We can also try a few more examples from source code from the Jupyter Notebook we integrated in the dev environment. In the source code, we use LangChain, a popular open source for developing LLM. We can also see that most Python libraries are all pre-installed so that all the example code is ready to go. In addition, Crafting's dev environment also includes other popular open source tools like AutoGPT and its UI wrapper agent GPT. They are powerful agents leveraging GPT to solve specific tasks. They are all set up and ready to go, as we can see here. Now let's go deeper into writing our own prompts for a simple question and answer bot. For that, we can simply open the Jupyter Notebook and try the code. As you can see, this is a typical prompt example, where you can set the role of the bot, context information regarding the subject, and instructions for the task. You can also provide a few examples to help make answers more accurate. Here we just use LangChain's few-shot prompt template to put them together. With that, we can give it a test run right here with a few examples. We can see that with these prompts, the bot is able to answer questions regarding Crafting Sandbox correctly. To test the bot properly, we need to have better testing support. Crafting integrates a testing UI for exactly this purpose. To connect our code with the testing UI, we can first copy or sync code to a Python file in the integrated Web IDE and adjust the API code a little bit to make sure the code doesn't go through the default path to call the OpenAI Chat API and call our prompt example instead. With that, we can return to the UI for testing. Here we can ask questions and our code will be executed to answer it. This testing UI includes several convenient functionalities for you to test, debug, and iterate. Firstly, it provides an online endpoint that you can ask your teammates and collaborators to help testing. The endpoint URL here can be accessed for testing and demo purposes. Secondly, it allows you to rate the answers and add human annotations to answers for debugging. Furthermore, you can manage conversations and save them directly to the workspace in JSON format, including the ratings and annotations. With this complete feedback loop, you can debug and iterate your code easily. This example demonstrates how simple prompt engineering is done. Next, we will dig even deeper into building a real support bot for Crafting. In this example, we are going to show how we build a Q&A bot for Crafting based on our documentation. Since Crafting has a lot of user documents, simple prompt engineering is not enough. Here we use embedding to first find out relevant context. First, we upload the source files of the documents in Markdown. Here we can use the simple drag and drop uploading endpoint provided by crafting and upload all the Markdown files to the workspace. The uploaded files will be stored in the Data Upload folder. Then, we will do the pre-processing with some Python code. The steps are typical embedding steps, and we just adapted some open source examples quickly. Specifically, we clean the data, break them into chunks each stored with the anchor link, and split the long sections to smaller ones. Then we call OpenAI Embedding API to generate embeddings for each section and store the result. Next, we get the serving code again from the OpenAI example and adapt it a bit to add our custom logic for serving the links to the original document in addition to the answer. Here you can see we use the simple prompt in OpenAI's example. Now, the bot is able to answer very specific questions regarding how to use Crafting Sandbox with the context from our documentation. To integrate with the UI for testing, we can modify the Python code again to make it call a custom serving function, which calls the serving code we copied from the Jupyter notebook. Note that the pre-processing part of the code for generating the embeddings is not needed here, as the embeddings can be loaded from the local file. Then, when we go to the UI and ask it a question to try it interactively, you can see it not only shows the answer, but also shows the additional data the backend sent along with the answer. When we are happy with the bot, we want to integrate it with our product. For that, we are going to need to publish an API to be called by our front end. Given the crafting dev environment is an end-to-end production-like cloud dev environment, it can be directly used for serving the API. In this example, the Python API endpoint can directly be accessed by the internet via this URL. The Crafting for LLM toolbox also provides a TypeScript API interface if you prefer to use Node.js. Crafting SaaS solution provides these environments from our cloud so that there is zero setup effort for users. If you prefer to deploy in your own cloud, the Crafting toolbox can easily pack the code that's already working in a container for deployment. It integrates a packing script to build a Docker container with files in the environment and expose the API. It also includes a script to create an AWS Lambda function to run the container, or you can choose another way to deploy your container in your cloud. For convenience, the deployment can directly be called from the Jupyter notebook, and you need to set up your AWS credentials first to deploy to your cloud. With the chat API exposed, now we can have the front-end code actually calling the API from our product. You can see we have integrated our custom-built chatbot here into our product for custom service. This completes the end-to-end development cycle of our Crafting Assistant chatbot. With the ready-to-use crafting environment, developing an LLM-based feature from beginning of coding to testing and iteration, and then to production could be done within a few hours. Crafting can also help implement best practices for building LLM features such as custom data access, result verification, prompt and data versioning, etc. Please contact us if you are interested in learning more.